Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class for the first elementary grade. Our textbook is Week 1, and today, inshallah, we're going to cover Unit 1, Animals, Rhythms and Sounds on page 4. This lesson will be presented by me, teacher Mazar Harbi, and the sign language by Mr. Fawaz Al-Agil. So let's begin. Our objectives in today's lesson, we hope that at the end of this lesson, you will be able to identify and talk about animals and also to utter simple words and numbers. So today we're going to practice how to say different words with different numbers, and not only this, but also to talk and identify words about animals. Quick revision before we begin. In our last lesson, we had an interesting conversation between a brother and his sister when they went to a pet store. And we learned with that conversation is that sometimes if you want to ask someone this question, do you have a pet? Is to accept either two answers, either yes or no, as we have listened with these two brothers, the brother and his sister. So we listened to the conversation where the sister came and asked her brother, do you have a pet? Do you have a pet? Do you have an animal that you can take care of? And we said that pet, what do you mean by pet, is an animal that we can go to a pet store and buy and to take care of it in our homes. Pets like fish, like for example turtles, like cats, like dogs, like birds, all of these we call them pets. Simple and small animals that we can take care of when we are inside our home. So the sister asked her brother, do you have a pet? And he says, with the answer that we listened to last time, he says, yes, I do. I have a turtle. And we said also that if you want to talk about the pets you have, you would say, I have. You start your question, your answer with, I have. I have a turtle. I have a fish. I have a cat. I have a dog. So we start our answer with, I have. Not only this, but also if you don't have any, you would simply say, no, I don't. No, I don't. I don't have any pets. And after this, we said it is important that so you can memorize this question, to practice this question, to act it out with pairs. Maybe you can go around and look for two people from your family members, your father and mother, or your brothers, and or even your classmates inside the class, or even a friend of yours or cousins. Just ask them this question. Do you have a pet? Do you have a pet? And you would listen to two possible answers. Either they would say, yes, I have a turtle, a fish, a cat, or they would say, no, I don't. And then they can ask you also. You can switch roles. And they can ask you, do you have a pet? And you can answer by using these two answers. Either you would say, yes, I do, I have, or you would say, no, I don't. It is an interesting question. And usually when you go to a pet store and when you look around seeing these different animals, then you can ask these similar questions. And after this, we had an interesting exercise where what we did is we did counting the number of pictures we have and also identify these pictures. So just a quick reminder, let's do the counting one more time before we move to our new lesson. So just to remind ourselves of the last lesson and how we did count all of these numbers. So what I would like you to do, as for the last time, is to point with me at this picture and to count with me from number 1 until the number we end up with. So let's start. So here, I would like you to point and count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, what is the number we have here? It is 11. And what do we call this animal? We call it a horse. So, how many horses do we have here? We have 11 horses. 11 horses. Very good. Now, let's do more counting, a quick counting. So, let's have a look and count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So, what is the number here? It is 12. And what do we call this animal? We call it a rabbit. And how many rabbits we have here? We have 12 rabbits. 12 rabbits. The other one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So what is the number here? It is 13. And what do we call this animal? We call it a zebra. And how many zebras we have? We have 13 zebras. 13 zebras. Very good. Moving on to the next, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So the number is 14. And we call this animal a lion. And how many lions we have here? We have 14 lions. 14 lions. Moving on to next, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So the number here is 15. And what do we call this animal? We call it a bear. And how many bears we have? We have 15 bears. 15 bears. Excellent. Next we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So the number here is 16. And what do we call this lovely animal? We call it a cat. And how many cats we have? We have 16 cats. 16 cats. And next, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. The number here is 17. And what do we call this animal? We call it a bird. And how many birds we have? We have 17 birds. 17 birds. Next, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So the number here is 18. And what do we call this animal? We call it a chicken. And how many chickens we have? We have 18 chickens. Next, let's count again. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. The number is 19. And what do we call this animal? We call it a turtle. So we have 19 turtles. 19 turtles. And now we reach the last number in our list, or that we had in our last lesson. So it is, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So here we have 20 eggs. 20 eggs. It is important that we can, or we are able to count. Just look around you, look for things that has so many numbers like this, and try to count them from 11 to 20. So, as for our lesson today, I would like you please to open your books on page 4. I would like you please to open your books on page 4. Now, on page 4, we're going to listen and chant about a chant that is called Paco. We're going to listen about a chant that is called Paco, where we see a farmer in front of his farm. And what we're going to do is that we're going to listen and we're going to say after this chant. So, I'm going to start chanting this chant, and I would like you to listen and say after me. Listen and chant. There was a farmer who had a horse, and Paco was his name. P-A-C-O, 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 and Paco was his name. So, now I'm going to say it one more time, and this time I would like you to follow with me while you chant. There was a farmer who had a horse, and Paco was his name. P-A-C-O, 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 and Paco was his name. So, in this chant, we learned about a farmer in front of his farm, and his name is Paco. This farmer, as you can see, this farm, it has trees, it has grass, and also 2 different cows. And also, the name of the farmer is Paco. So, now, just to match this rhythm and sound, let's try to write Paco. So what we're going to do here, as we always do, we're going to first trace the word Paco, and after this, we're going to write it here on our own. So, what we're going to do first is that we're going to trace it, we're going to write it again, and also we're going to listen to how to pronounce or how to say this word. So let's begin. So here we will pick a pen and we'll start to trace these letters. So here we'll start to trace the letter P, and then we will trace letter A. We will trace letter A. And after this, we'll go to letter C. As we can see here, we'll trace letter C. Maybe we can color it as well. And finally, we're going to trace letter O. So, after we do the tracing, it is important that we copy it here. We write it on our own here. So we can know how to write the word Paco. So we'll go here and try to write the first letter, which is P. Here we're going to write the first letter and also the second one, which is letter A. Letter A. And then the third one, which is letter C. Letter C. And finally, the last letter is letter O. Letter O. Like this. So here we go. Here we did trace the word Paco, and also here we did copy it again. So you can practice this. You can listen to the chant one more time, and also you can trace the word, and also you can copy it on your own. So just when you make sure when you do this to repeat the chant. There was a farmer who had a horse, and his name was Paco. Now, at the end of this lesson, as we said, it is important that you are able to chant the Paco chant by yourself using a good rhythm. And also to make it more interesting, you can ask your classmate to chant this chant with you. Maybe they will have different rhythms, maybe they will have different ideas on how to act out and also how to chant this chant. Chant this one, the chant that is called Paco. Also trace the word on your books on page 4. Do trace it, and also don't forget that you should copy it as well, so you can keep it in your head and to memorize it and to practice it more often. And now we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.